some coons, and the first thing we're going to do when we get them, and we're going to do this fur handling, we want to just comb it out. We want to make sure that all of the dirt, burrs, things of that nature are out of the coon. One, it's going to make your coon look better. It's going to be more presentable, but also it's going to take all those burrs and dirt out of here, so when you get to the fleshing process, you're not nicking your fur or catching it on a piece of dirt and ripping the fur. So it serves two purposes, and ultimately that's what we want to do. We want to comb this out, get all the stuff off of it, and this is actually a really nice coon. This is actually going to be a nice pelt that we're going to get tanned and have for some decor. Now, when you're making your first cut, I usually just cut around the legs here at the ankle and get that first cut made. Now, with this coon here, you can see the hairline here where the back hair kind of meets the front hair. It goes right down here, kind of right underneath the anus, the vent towards the belly. So we're just going to get that, and we're going to cut straight up that line from ankle to ankle. So once you get that cut from the ankle to the ankle, that's really all you need. And then what we're going to do is now start to work the pelt down off of it. We're using these Weeby knives. This is just their soft-handled pelter or soft-handled knife. I use that to make the cut, but I move on when I'm doing this to a much sharper knife, and this is their Vixen. They have a lot of different models, but these are really, really good. Their slogan is Wicked Sharp, and you really have to be careful because they definitely are wicked sharp. But what you want to do with this is just to start to work around the inside of the legs and down through to get this pelt starting off of the legs. Now, once you get that started, you can actually put some force now and start pulling this down, and that's exactly what you want to do. Anytime you can use your hands to pull this down, it goes a lot quicker than when you are using a knife. But we'll just work around here now. So now that I've got that down to the leg, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I don't go past the vent though, because what I'm going to do after I get down here on both sides is cut a straight line up the vent, and we'll show you that after we get this second leg free. Same thing as before. Once you get that down, you can actually start to use your brute force and pull that hide right off. All right, now we're going to go on both sides of the vent. Now, as you can see, once you get that cut around that vent, you can then get in here by the tail, working this with your knife down to where you can then get that down a little bit and get your knife through there to get your thumb through. And once you get your thumb through, you can then start to put some pressure on that. Now, once I get that down around the tail a little bit, Weeby's also got a tail zipper here, which works fantastic for this. You're just pulling tight and getting your tail zipper in there, and you're pulling straight down through the coon. And you can see how that takes it right down the tail line now to where it's much easier to get this tail off. And that Weeby tail zipper is a lifesaver, because if you weren't using that, you'd have to be sitting here peeling and cutting and peeling and cutting, and that's no fun. But once you do that, then you can just get your fingers in there and start working it down. And once you work it down, you get it all the way down to where now you get yourself your tail stripper, and then you're just putting a little strength and the tail comes right out, as you can see. Once you get that done, you want to take the tail, find where the nub is, and then you can use that tail zipper to take that the whole way down to the end and the tip of the tail right here. We're just going to want to pull on the hide, and depending on when you caught it, you can probably pull a lot easier. The hide will come off a lot easier when you have a warm coon, but it's not too bad. And you just pulling this down. Just take that tail, wrap it up in, grab the hide, roll it a little bit, and get some more pressure. And you can see that pulls it down even more. And you can do that continuously until you get down here to the legs, and you can take your thumb, push it right through, and then the front legs come right to there. So without having to make any cuts from here to about here, we were able to get that pelt the whole way off. And we pull that down to the feet, and then just going to cut that off right there. Perfect. We're just continuing to work around this coon here. Be very careful. Just stay on that membrane and flesh line where your pelt meets the animal, and just continue to work, being careful not to nick them as you work down through. And as you keep working, I like to keep pulling because it's a lot easier. That separates the pelt from the animal to where it makes it much easier to see the line that you want to cut. And you can see your line as you move down through. Get to the ears right here. Perfect. And we're working the pelt off of the coon and working it down. Getting down, working around you'll start to get to the teeth. Once you get to the teeth, then you want to keep your eye open for the eye holes and get them accordingly. Now once you get down to the nose here, you don't want to take that cartilage and leave it on the animal. You want that cartilage to come with the hide or the pelt, because that's what's going to hold it on the board when you stretch it. It gives you some leeway with that. So when you get down to the nose, you want to find that cartilage, stay right up underneath it, and you make one cut in, and it comes right off. And you can see now we still have the nose, and that's how it'll go on the board. But that's really all there is to skinning raccoons. It's not that hard a process. Just a couple cuts to get it started, straight across, work it down around, cut up through the anus, around the anus, take the tail off, pull it down, and just be careful as you go down through, and there's no nicks or cuts or anything on that. And that's actually a really nice raccoon. I mean, you can see that's a really good heavy coon, beautiful fur on it, and that's exactly what we want. So we'll take it over and show you how to flesh it. This is a really nice raccoon. We're gonna get him turned out and get to the fleshing process and show you exactly what goes into that. Now, as you can see, when I'm doing this, it's shaving that fat down off of the hide. And now once you get there, then you can start to put some pressure, and you'll see this fat start to work its way off of the pelt. Now with that, you see the difference? You can now see the difference of fleshing a hide versus not fleshing a hide. And this is where your money's made on the fur handling process. You really want to have a good system to get this stuff off, because that is exactly what's going to show the fur buyer that you are definitely doing what's necessary for a good pelt. But as you can see, that stuff in the membrane is coming right down off of that coon. And you can see that's exactly what we're looking for. We're working this down through. You can see that membrane coming right off. And that's what you want to do. Just continue to do that until you're working all of that down through to the bottom and taking it right off of the coon. And you can see it'll come right off. Just working this down through here. As I said, we want to get down through that tail, and you can see all that fat and everything is out of that tail now as well. So we're just continuing to work that around. And that's what we're trying to do right there. Well, we're getting her down to about pretty much done. That's exactly what we're looking for now. You can see there, that's exactly what we want with the leather. There's no fat or very little fat, very little membrane on it. And that's exactly what you're looking for in the fleshing process. But we'll take this off. Now, and as you can see, that's our coon, and that's exactly what we're looking for. And now we're going to show you how to put it on a board and get it ready to be tanned or to go to market. Now it's time to put them on the board to stretch them. And that's a very simple process. We're using a wood board here. You can use wire. There are a couple of different things, but it's more or less, you're going to get a good pelt out of the wire or the wood. Ultimately, I like the wood. It kind of keeps me in the mindset of the old time trappers, but you just putting that on the board. I usually start back here on the back side. I'm going to get this kind of even to where the tail's going to go down the middle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull that down gently to wherever it is, and we use push pins. You can use nails or whatever, but push pins work great for you. So we're pulling that down, and I'm going to put one smack dab in the middle. That's where we're going to start. Now, I like to keep things even. So when I'm stretching this, I don't want, these two sides to be uneven. I'm going to actually want them even. So what I do on the one side is pull it taut, get it down, and to where it's about straight across, and then that's where my second push pin goes, right there. Now that's going to hold that there. Now on the other side, I can do the same exact thing to where I'm pulling down on that coon, it's straight across, and I'm putting my third push pin in. Now as you're moving forward, I'm going down, I'm just putting some push pins in to keep the tail open, and just doing that down as we go forward. Now as you can see, that's pretty much where we're at when we get the raccoon on the board. It's a very simple process. What I'm going to show you real quick, I like to cut a little window, and it's an inspection window. This hair is what they're going to be checking in here on the back side. So I'm just going to make a little cut right here, and then I'm just coming right down the side of the fur to take off any excess creases or fat or any other things that are attached to the side of the fur. And that's what you got there now. And that's going to dry very good. Now the one thing with raccoons that you want to do, you want to put a stick in there or something, because when they dry fast, and a couple days, but they dry hard and they're very hard to get off of there. So you're just putting a wedge up in there. So when you go to take it off, you're pulling your pins, you're pulling the wedge out, it's going to come off of the board easier. But that's pretty much all there is to stretching your coon. As you can see, I got a straight line across here. You turn it around, and I have a straight line across there as well. That one push pin come out, but we'll get that back in there. to give us that straight line. Ultimately, that's the skinning, fleshing, and stretching process. That's all you really have to do for your coons. Now, once this dries, it'll be ready for market if you want to sell it. It'll also be ready to send away and have it tanned, or you can home tan it yourself.